President Trump's war on the media perhaps has forever changed the way we cover the White House. But with Trump silenced now on social media and a new administration just hours away from taking office, how will you now hear from a President Biden? Here's Terry Moran.
It's over!
The attack on the U.S. Capitol, the culminating moment of the Trump presidency. In its wake, President-elect Joe Biden drew the starkest contrast between himself and Trump, accusing Trump of attacking the institutions of our democracy, including the press.
He's attacked the free press, who dared to question his power, repeatedly calling the free press the enemy of the people. Language at the time he first used it, I and others said, has long been used by autocrats and dictators all over the world.
They are truly the enemy of the people. They are the enemy of the people.
President Trump's attacks on the press have actually been a crucial part of his governing strategy.
Look. You know you're a fake. You know that your whole network, the way you cover it, is fake.
The slightest challenge, any criticism, even a question he didn't like, he answered all of it by furiously attacking the messengers in order to delegitimize them.
They are the fake, disgusting news.
What's it been like being White House correspondent under Donald Trump? You've got a lot of experience. What's been different about the relationship here?
I mean, the biggest thing is you're covering somebody that tries to make you the enemy.
My colleague Jonathan Carl is one of the best and most experienced political reporters out there, and he'd never seen anything like this White House.
To have the president unload on you as you're just trying to ask questions is a totally bizarre experience.
Twitter was where Trump unloaded most. His use of the social media platform revolutionized and for many Americans degraded presidential communications. Trump was tweeting for years before he won the 2016 election, but he promised he'd tone it down after he entered office.
I'm going to do very restrained. If I use it at all, I'm going to do very restrained.
Well, that didn't last long. Trump tweeted more than 15,000 times as president, bombarding his 88 million followers and the rest of the country with a constant stream of policy, MAGA rallying cries, and crude insults. He used the platform to fire cabinet secretaries, rail against his enemies, and spew lies and falsehoods far and wide. That is, until the final year of his presidency. Under public pressure, Twitter began slapping labels on the president's tweets as he spread misinformation about the 2020 campaign. And after that mob of Trump supporters violently attacked the U.S. Capitol building, at the moment Congress was counting the electoral votes that confirmed Joe Biden's victory, Twitter and Facebook both pulled the plug on Trump. They banned the president from the platforms, citing concerns about future violence, igniting a war between his supporters and the social media giants in the final days of his presidency.
I think big tech has made a terrible mistake and very, very bad for our country.
It remains to be seen how a Biden administration handles the lingering questions about regulating big tech, but Biden and his team had a much lighter touch when it came to using social media during the campaign.
This is going to feel like night and day in Washington.
Now, with Trump leaving reluctantly, what will change? Can President Joe Biden repair the shattered relationship between the White House and the media?
Thank you, Mr. President-elect.
Mary Bruce covered the Biden campaign for us at ABC News, in addition to regular White House assignments. Mary sees a return to normalcy at the Biden White House, for better and worse.
The pendulum is very much swinging from an extremely freewheeling White House, often without a coherent message, without a real press shop that's trying to put out one disciplined message, to Joe Biden's team, which is going to be incredibly disciplined. They are going to be far, far, far more organized and make sure that when they're rolling out, new policy, that there is an actual communications plan that goes with it. I suspect you will see a return to the presidential daily briefing.
But there is likely to be a downside to all this, less access for reporters to White House officials, especially the president.
Thank you very much, everyone.
Donald Trump was ubiquitous. For all his fury at the media, no president has ever engaged with reporters more, answered more of their questions, fought with them more.
That's enough. Put down the mic.
That will change.
For us, reporters probably have far less access directly to the president than we have had to President Trump.
As a candidate, Joe Biden's exposure to reporters was also limited because of social distancing rules and a pared-down travel and event schedule due to the coronavirus pandemic.
Joe Biden wasn't out there having freewheeling conversations. He does take questions, but it's not nearly as frequently as a normal candidate would. Far from it.
But it's what a president says, not just how much they talk. And from the first to the last days of the Trump administration, it's been a torrent of provable falsehoods from the president on down.
This was the largest audience to ever witness an inauguration, period.
This election was rigged. Everybody knows it.
He was in some ways daring the press to call him a liar so that he could turn around and say, see, these people hate me, they're the opposition. And yeah, I think it was kind of a no-win scenario.
Ben Smith covers the media beat for the New York Times. He thinks reporters will face more scrutiny covering Biden inevitably.
I think there's going to be an impulse on the right to say, see, you're not saying the same things about Biden as you said about Trump. And I think ultimately Trump is not like anybody else. And I think that's a really unfair critique, but I'm sure we'll hear it constantly.
To be clear, President Trump was hardly the first president to have a contentious relationship with the press. The Obama administration took aggressive steps to keep information from the public, prosecuting 8 people for leaking to the press with an unprecedented use of the Espionage Act. But under President Trump, the disdain was far more public. 4 years of lies, rage, and insults.
Okay, I know you're not thinking. You never do.
I'm sorry?
No, go ahead.
It's such an intense relationship, the president and the press, but it's a critical one for our democracy.
That's part of what makes, America, America, and the idea of an American democracy is the idea of a free and fair press. And so the press has largely acted as kind of essentially a different figure, a different pillar in order to hold administrations, political administrations, presidential administrations accountable and honest.
Restoring that pillar of American democracy will be tough, and it isn't just up to the president.
Looking forward, do you think that the White House press corps is going to return to a tradition of holding President Joe Biden now accountable?
It's absolutely necessary. I mean, if you look at the country today, you have like 30 to 40% of the country that essentially won't believe much of what they see in a newspaper or see in a network newscast. We've got to somehow find a way to regain some of that trust. And part of that is showing that we will hold Joe Biden to account.
Terry Moran in Washington for ABC News Live.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.